Chances are you'll find this story incredibly hard to believe. It's confronting and confounding, but it really happened. Raised in middle-class Sydney, Katie Lang's future was almost assured, exciting and prosperous. But her big mistake was to fall in love with the wrong man. Katie thought Damien Baston wanted to be her boyfriend. What he really wanted was to be her pimp. He used violence to control her, turning her into a sex slave and trafficking her around the world. But what this monster didn't anticipate was Katie's strength. And when she was finally able to escape his abuse, she set about plotting her revenge. Katie Lang has always been confident and smart, which makes her story all the more frightening. Somehow, her life spiralled so far out of control, it's lucky the 28-year-old is even here today.
It's just so hard because I thought that it would never get to that point. But that was the start of it.
5 years ago, everything went wrong for Katie Lang. Forced into a sex slavery ring, she was abducted from Australia and traded around the world as a prostitute. Held at the whim of a violent and manipulative thug, until a lucky escape which saved her life.
I was totally numb. I had no emotion, so I was very much just like a robot.
It's the stuff of airport novels, except it's frighteningly real. And Katie's brave decision to then be the star witness at an international court case has now saved other lives. And led to the first person being convicted on strict new sex trafficking laws.
Now I can sleep at night knowing that he's gotten the maximum sentence that he was meant to get.
Katie gave a different dimension of what a victim looks like. We're talking, a young girl who's very established, had a great education, had her own dreams, that was somehow able to be capitalised upon by a person with ill intent.
Probably about 8 years before meeting him.
Katie's nightmare all began when she moved to the Gold Coast in 2011. She was looking for a new start.
I had a great job and I was starting to make friends, which was great, and I did love it.
And then you met a man.
I did.
Unfortunately, that man was Damien Baston. Imposing and charismatic, he naturally demands attention.
Oh, you're counting money like it's nothing. This is what we do every day.
Katie was instantly intrigued the night they met at a dance club.
It was almost like there was it sounds weird, but like a light above him, and he just stood out, like when I think about it now, and I was just kind of drawn to him.
You gotta say for the camera.
What Katie doesn't know is that Baston is a criminal, a long-term pimp, and a master manipulator.
This is the beginning of something bigger than life.
He has a shocking plan to lure Katie into a relationship, isolate her from family and friends, and then force her to become one of his prostitutes. Sickeningly, he succeeds by using this, Pimpology, a how-to book on the sordid business of prostitution. Step 1, intimidation and control through extreme violence.
He just punched me in the stomach as hard as he could, and I fell on the ground, and he picked me up and he just started strangling me. And then he just grabbed me by the hair and just started banging my head against the window, and he's just shut the F up.
Step 2, mental torment.
He just pinned me up against the wall and was like, "Don't ever speak to me like that again." He pressed the hot knife up against my throat, and I felt like he was going to slit my throat, so I jumped up and he just threw me back down, and he kept strangling me, and eventually I was just screaming.
Step 3 in the subjugation of Katie was rape.
He very much enjoyed beating me up and then having sex.
Do you know how many times he raped you?
A lot. I can't remember, but I mean, when you're crying and someone's trying to have sex with you, I can't get my head around it, how someone can be enjoying that.
Exacerbating the fear, Baston boasted he was a member of a dangerous criminal gang in the US, and if she didn't do what he said, her family would be killed. The final, degrading step, turning Katie into a prostitute, was almost too simple.
I went up to the apartment just saying to myself, what have I got myself into? Because I just thought I'd never let it get to that point. So, sorry.
It's okay.
Please stop for a minute.
Let's not say that there was a flaw in her and that's why it happened. These are unusual human circumstances. And charismatic evil is what it is.
Dr. Frank Ockberg is the world's leading expert on Stockholm Syndrome, the well-recognised bond sometimes formed between a tormentor and their victim. He knows Katie's story well because Dr. Ockberg eventually gave evidence against Baston. For someone like Katie, who is so well-educated, so independent, to be able to make her do something she didn't want to do, something that went so against the grain for her, how could he do that?
Those of us who think we know a lot about encounters with evil don't until it has happened. In her case, there are relatives involved, and he's managed to convince her very consciously that he will do them harm. All of a sudden, she realizes she is in a relationship with a devil.
How did he make you work? How did he make you become a prostitute?
I think once the violence started, I couldn't see a way out because I was so fearful of him not only hurting me but hurting my family.
How do you psychologically cope with knowing that you were denigrated to the point of doing the ultimate thing that you didn't want to do, that you became a prostitute?
I think it's hard. It's hard to think about, but it's not hard to talk about because I know in my heart that it's not something that I wanted to do, and I don't think that women should feel ashamed to speak about something that they were made to do.
But Katie is not the only one in Baston's control. He sets up this Gold Coast unit as a brothel and has at least 2 other women living here and working for him.
He had roles for everybody.
And what was your role?
My role was to look after him. You know, I'd have to cook for him. In his head, he believed that he was the dominant male and we all had to look after him, and in return he'd look after us.
Okay, what you got in there? What you got in the bag?
In Baston's deluded world, he combines punishment with reward.
Woo! Oh, come on, Versace.
A common control tactic used by violent men. Out of the blue, he proposes to Katie. And out of fear, she says yes. Could you have said no?
I could have. I definitely believe I would have gotten beaten quite badly. Or he would have let me go and something could have happened to my family.
But the marriage proposal is really part of his evil master plan to traffic her to Dubai and pimp Katie to rich Arab men and international travellers. Did you think about, well, if I go to the police, they can protect me?
I would play it out and I'd say, okay, I'm going to go to them and I'm tell them what this guy's doing. And then, okay, so say he gets away, then I'm forever wondering, is he going to come back? Is he going to hurt my family? Because he always used to say, you know, I know where your grandma lives.
I put a whole lot of money in this bitch right here.
Oh, that's the saddest.
As unbelievable as it seems, in their Dubai home videos, Katie looks like she's actually enjoying Baston's company and gifts.
No rush. No. Leave that alone. So open the bag. I don't want to go through all that note and shit.
But her smile is fake, a ploy to stop the violence.
It was either be happy or get beaten.
After 2 months, Baston gets ever more greedy and traffics her to Miami, where business is better because there's more women he can abuse and more ways of making them work. When you first came here, what did the bright lights of Miami mean to you? What did they symbolise to you?
I guess coming here against my will at that stage, it just meant work for me the day that I landed in this city.
Katie is forced to add stripping to the prostitution.
To be honest, I feel sick right now. I feel really sick in the stomach.
And why is that?
It's just a hard place to come to because it's just a hard place to look at, really.
To return to Miami is to return to the terror of her time here and to return for the first time to the seedy strip club where she was made to work 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. The fact that you were dancing for strangers and that you were dancing in various stages of undress, how degrading was that for you?
I never thought that I'd end up in a position like that, and I let him control me at the end. And I nearly gave up. I nearly gave up to... I wanted to kill myself at times. I wanted to kill him at times.
Still to come, breaking free from Baston.
It wasn't a matter of just getting on the plane, and I still didn't know if I was going to be able to get away.
Deceiving a monster. What do you think would have happened to Katie?
Nothing good.
And Katie's ultimate revenge. The US Department of Homeland Security has tracked him to this building. That's next on 60 Minutes.